Welcome to this exciting episode where I share my pearls of wisdom gained from this first ever go at body filling and sanding.
This is what I've learned. It's not a how-to video, it's not a recommendation video, no sponsorship, nothing like that. It's just what I've learned doing it myself for the first time ever. Might save you some mistakes, might help you. Okay, filler. I've been using epoxy resin and 3M glass baubles. I've built this up from foam, so I need some really high volume filler. Then get the shape, so I need some kind of medium density filler, and I wanted to take to a finish, so I need some fine finishing filler. This is one filler that I mix with lots of baubles in it to make it bulky, and you can go, I don't know, best part of an inch thick, no cracking, no shrinkage. Then mix it with slightly less baubles, so it's slightly more smooth and runny for shaping, and then leave it really runny, and I can use it as a finishing one. So rather than having lots of different body fillers, which is great in a body shop where you're going to use them, I just have one and it does everything. Might be more expensive if you're going to do it long term, but I'm doing one product, and I don't want to have half a can of high build, half a can of medium, and half a can of fine fill left over. So filler, I went for that option. It worked for me. I'm really pleased with it. Mixing it up, just find something to mix it in. This is an old resin tub cut in half. That works quite nicely to mix it up. I use a bit of bent metal on a drill. Bzzz, that mixed that. Most of the time though, I'm not a great body filler, so I wanted to do small batches. I was using cups. That's just a little paper cup. Paper, not plastic. Save the planet and all that. And then stir it with a lollipop stick. That is a lady's wax application. So if you want to shave your legs, apparently put the wax on with those. They come cheap in big bundles. Cheap off Amazon. Cheap is good, by the way. You're going to use loads of those. You're going to use loads of those. Buy the cheapest you can afford. They're pretty much single use. The mixing, applying the mixer. Yeah, you get these free cards, they're like credit card size things. They're okay, but kind of shit because they don't bend enough and they're too small. My friend next door, Mike, he just lent me his silicone, flexi. They curve to the shape of the bonnet. That one's wide enough to go over big gaps. Smaller ones, yeah. These slightly flexible silicone ones, way better. That's filler. Oh yeah, when you want to make the edges, this is it's corrugated plastic. That's floor protection from wicks. Comes in 8 foot by 4 foot sheets. Very nice, but the epoxy sticks to it. So pain in the ass to try to remove and sand off. That Mylar clear plastic. It peels off epoxy perfectly. Leaves a glass smooth finish, absolutely delightful. So when I was doing the bonnet shuts, which you'll see in whenever I get around to making the next video, you'll see I use this, and even though I sealed the bonnets of the wings, because of the Mylar, it just peels apart. God's gift to separating epoxy. Mixing boards, these come with multiple pages. Quite useful. But if you're mixing a cup with epoxy resin and you're using this stuff, a lot of the time I just literally lollipop stick, plop it onto the bodywork, smooth it down. So I didn't use that as much as I was thinking, but that's because of the body filler I was using and the amounts I was using. Acetone, buy lots. It's really important to clean your tools. Here's what happens with a scraper if you don't clean it. So I've sort of had to break bits. Yeah, you end up with all shitty bits on the edges. So that leaves lines in all your filler. When you're weighing resin and everything, put your scales in a plastic bag. All the shit goes in a plastic bag, doesn't ruin your scales. My wife would be really glad to get her kitchen scales back. Wear rubber gloves, whatever you do, this stuff gets onto your skin and it's a bastard. Sanding it back off again, where you spend the rest of your life. Sandpaper. Buy lots, buy lots, buy lots, buy lots. Get a selection of discs. I was roughing it up. I used a bit 2B4 with some sandpaper stuck to it, a couple of staples. It works fine. That was great for 40 grit, just trying to get the big lumps in rough shape, but I wouldn't recommend using that long term. A rasp, great for that first detailing work. I wouldn't use it once you get going though. These are foam sanding blocks. You get a curvy one, you get a big long one, get a couple of short detailing ones in a pack. They don't really bend, but there's a little bit of flex in there, so you can get slight curves. But what it does mean is when you're doing surfaces, you get a nice flat surface. So machining is a very quick way to get it, basically flat, but once you've got the big lumps and bumps off, go back to hand sanding so you don't get bumped it, bumped it, bumped it. If you want to work out how much you need to sand off, you've got a low spot. I found if you put filler over the top of it, try to sand it down, you're never quite sure when you've gone down enough. Just mark it with a pencil. Just draw a ring around the low spot, fill over the circle, including the pencil mark. As you sand it down, you'll start seeing on the edges, oh, there's that pencil mark, so you know you're roughly level. If your sandpaper's getting choked, get a brush, brush it out. That's especially for the heavy grit stuff. Don't be a miser with your sandpaper. When your sandpaper gets full, which it will with this resin, yeah, the resin builds up in it. You can brush that clean. My wire brush. Ah, look at that. It's almost clean again now. But you've still got all those bits filling the holes in. They're not sandy, they're scratching. Doing wheel arches, these little round sandy things, put them onto your drill. Yeah, they work really well. I've got a dirty grate fan, big garage door there. I have this pipe blowing into it and out of the little door in the corner there. When you are sanding, I cannot tell you enough, wear a mask. I don't give a shit about your health and safety. It's just so you can keep working. You cannot breathe in the amount of dust this stuff gives off. Blue Scotch tape, great for stuff. Aluminium tape, I think it's got its place, but so far it's a pain in the ass. You put it on, can't peel it off, it leaves a sticky residue. So I'm in two minds about that. I think I'm going to have to use it when I make my mould to cover the headlights, but really not sure. Right, so filler, you can buy lots of specialist ones, or the 3M I just use, does everything. Get yourself some of those silicone spreaders, they're so much better, either the metal ones or the stupid plastic credit card ones. Sandpaper, get yourself some blocks, it will save your life. Clean your sandpaper off with just a normal brush, not that wire brush. Preserves its life, but throw it away when it is worn out or clogged. Mylar, God's gift to release. I think that's pretty good to go. Again, none of this is advice. None of this is recommendations. None of this is sponsored content. All of it is what I've discovered in the last 4 to 6 weeks of sanding. Okay, this was really a filler video because I was hoping to be the primer one, but I'm still sanding. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, all the normal fun and games. Cheers.